Good morning, guys. I did not film anything this morning because I literally was up all night. For some reason, last night I just could not sleep. I think I got like an hour or so, and then I was up at like 1:28 in the morning. And then I just couldn't sleep after that, tossing and turning. So it's now 5:20, and I've been out here since about 4:45 doing this. So my husband's cereal, milk, salsa, organic pasta, chips, salad. And then the boys' cereal, of course. And today, the Lord wanted me to give Johnny Isaiah 5:20. If you guys can see it there. That's the message for Johnny for today. I think this has to do with the fact that he's bombarded by the news all day long at his job. I noticed yesterday they were talking about the snake bite, and so, yeah.
The next day, he's going to murder people. That's obscene. That puts him in the most sinister light possible.
Okay, you indicated as you constructed the bombs the night before the killings, you decided at that point who would get them, where they would be placed. Is that correct?
That's when I made the final decision, that's right.
Okay. It sounds so callous to be sitting there putting together these lethal instrumentalities and to have not yet even decided who was going to receive them.
My thoughts are that no great harm done, might have died in a car accident. The worthlessness of life or whatever.
The 31-year-old documents dealer is accused of killing Stephen Christensen and Kathleen Sheets to cover up an elaborate fraud and forgery scheme. The LDS Church arranged Steve Christensen to authenticate the collection just 2 hours before he died in a bomb blast.
You feel that Mark did do it, and for what reason?
Definitely. To keep from being exposed by Steve as a forger, as a liar, as a thief.
Was Steve going to do that?
I think he would have, yeah. Steve, he was also saying, if you don't produce what you say you've got, I will have you arrested. I will have you kicked out of the church. I will, he was threatening his whole existence, I guess.
Kiss for your daddy. The whole idea was protection of my family or whatever, from that knowledge. As far as being identified with certainty as the forger that I was. the time, this is hard to explain because, well, I don't even understand fully, but I had a lot of thoughts in my mind, obviously. You know, I knew what my teachings were. As far as my religious teachings, I knew, even though I tried to justify the taking of life as my own survival and that was philosophically not an inappropriate thing to do, I had feelings of not guilt so much as feelings of wondering as far as, you know, what happens if I'm wrong? Or what happens if there really is a God, you know?
Hello. You've reached the offices of Steve Christensen. I'm either out of the office or unable to come to the phone at the present time. If you would please leave your name, phone number, time of the call, and a brief message if you desire, I would be more than happy to return your call as soon as possible. Please wait for the beep and then commence your message. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve, I'm just calling to see if you were all right this morning. I just heard about that bomb up there, and I'll be hearing from you. Thank you. Steve, I just heard about the explosion in your building. I wanted to call and see if you're okay. Give me a call back. Thanks.
Hi, Steve. We're getting in kind of deep on the genealogy side of things, and I just wanted to see some payment, so,
I need to know what to do about this Mormon History Association newsletter. Bye now. Okay, bye, Steve.
Steve Christensen was one of the most loving people you could ever meet. To me, he was the epitome of Christian living, and somebody to know Steve was to love Steve, and I just can't even imagine the type of mindset that would be needed to do the type of brutal killings that have been done.
Steve, this is Michelle. You're a hard man to get a hold of. If you could give me a call, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
The bomb for Steve Christensen was wrapped with nails. And the thing about wrapping something like a bomb with nails is that this ensures with the shrapnel that you're going to get a kill. But I also understand that he had taken and made a practice bomb and taken it out to the West Desert, and he practiced to make sure that everything was going to work.
Bomb that killed Kathy Sheets was a diversion. His intent was that the police find a bomb similar to the one over at Steve Christensen's.
You said that the detonator on the bomb that you placed at the Sheets' home was supposed to be defective, that you didn't believe that it would go off.
I figured there was a 50% chance it would go off, 50% chance that it wouldn't.
And if it didn't go off, it wouldn't frustrate your purpose, would it?
That's true.
It seems to me that a man who creates the kinds of documents that you created with the kind of technical know-how and ability could ensure that that detonator had not gone off, and you could have served your purpose without killing Mrs. Sheets. Was that an option?
Well, it was certainly an option. It was almost, well, as strange as it sounds, it was almost a game. Yeah.
Okay, you claimed that the Sheets bombs was a diversion.
My thoughts were, it didn't matter if it was Mr. Sheets, the child, a dog, whoever. Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a violently dangerous person?
No. Although I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with that, given the nature of my crimes.
Thank you.
You tried to tell us that the third bomb was a suicide attempt.
That's right.
If you intended to commit suicide, why was it necessary to kill Mr. Christensen and Mrs. Sheets?
I didn't decide to commit suicide until after Mr. Christensen and Mrs. Sheets were killed.
Then was it in response to feelings that came as a consequence of having killed those people that you decided to commit suicide?
It wasn't so much feelings of guilt as feelings of protection.
Okay. I didn't suggest guilt. The reason I'm pressing about the suicide attempt is that I'm not sure it's going to do any good to ask you the question that's really in the back of my mind, and that is, what were you really going to do with that third bomb?
Hoffman said at one time, as he was manufacturing bombs, not knowing where they'd be used, he thought one might be used against you. And you indeed were to have met with him on October 16th, the day of the third bomb.
Well, we normally met at that time.
A lot of thoughts went through my mind at that time. Mm-hmm. I even thought of the possibility of killing people who were associates with me. The whole idea was to delay getting caught on the fraud.
Do you think that bomb was for you?
I don't know. I haven't been able to entirely rule it out. That's one of the things.
I didn't go up that day because my wife had said, I don't want you going up that today. I says, well, I'm just going up to visit with Mark. And she says, I don't know, just have this funny feeling that you shouldn't go up today. So I listened to her, and we stayed home and ate pizza and watched a movie.
A witness said he rushed to his aid and gave Hoffman a blessing.
He was wearing the LDS garment, and I took out my oil and consecrated.
Well, guys, it's evening, and I have done this much. It's about 5 rows of stitching. It doesn't look very big, but it's actually... 25. It's pretty big. It's about 1/4 of my finger. That much of my finger. I'm doing row 6 now. I'm gonna get professional at this in no time. I'm also watching something on Netflix while I do this, just to get my mind off of stuff. Yeah, I actually love knitting. It's a good stress reliever. So, yeah. Other than knitting and watching Murder Among the Mormons, I'm having tea and just... I guess I'm trying to accept life the way it is. It's been rough, but we'll get through it. We get through a lot, and we get through a lot, so we'll get through it. Yeah, so